Hey CC families, it's Leanne here. Week 13 is in the books. I'm still in my class, just finished wrapping up class a few minutes ago, got the room cleaned up and the kids are outside playing. I can see them through the window and I thought now's a great time to record the video while it's still fresh on my brain. So our week 13 grammar was, we started with geography as usual. I already cleaned up my little finger puppets, but I went to IKEA and I just placed the finger puppets in the middle of the table before the kids got here, and then they picked whichever one they wanted. And I'd have them hold up their finger puppet for me and repeat after me, and then we introduced our finger puppet to Western Africa. So we just I had them circle Africa, that whole general vicinity of Western Africa, including all of the Sahara Desert and Sahara Desert. I go both. Sahara Desert. And so then we took our little finger puppet, showed them Atlantic Ocean, and then the Senegal River, and then down to the Niger River, and I put them in order so I could show them. That was right over the Ivory Coast. And then we went up and circled the whole part with the Sahara Desert. So we repeated that several times, and then I'd say, show your finger puppet the Atlantic Ocean, and then show your finger puppet, show them where the Sahara Desert is. Do they remember where the Ivory Coast was? That kind of thing with our little finger puppets. And so I went a little out of order because I let them keep their puppets on for science so they could do call and response with their finger puppets. And so we did, what are some parts of the geosphere? And I had my little frog. I said the frog was the boss today, and he was going to ask the questions, and y'all were going to do the answering. So then we did call and response with some parts of the geosphere are core, mantle, crust, hydrosphere, repeat, biosphere, and atmosphere. And then we took our finger puppets and hid them inside the core. So then we did core, mantle, got bigger, crust, and then we just did, the hydrosphere, biosphere, atmosphere. And then I let them, volcanoes, their favorite. So we did, let's get really, really, really small. I think we did it faster and louder. Yeah, we did. And then we got down and did a volcano. So we started with our little finger puppets and did core and mantle, crust, and all the spheres, and got bigger. So that's what we did for science. And then I had my class mom come and gather those little finger puppets up. And we went on to math, and I introduced them to Gallon Guy. And so I sang the song first. 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup, 2 cups equals 1 pint, 2 pints equals 1 quart, 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. And then I showed them, I'll flip this around so you can see, in case you're curious what I'm looking at. I'll introduce you to Gallon Guy. So I'll close that in half. There's Gallon. Oh wait, hold on. Can't see Gallon Guy. There's Gallon Guy. So you can see the gallon in the middle, and then there was the 4 quarts on each side, and then off the 4 quarts there's 2 pints, and then I have 2 pints off of, no, 2 cups off of each pint, and then I wrote the number 8 at the bottom of each of the cups. So we did it again, and I'd say 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup, right there. 2 cups equals 1 pint, 1 pint equals, 2 pints equals 1 quart, and 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. And then we did it again and again, and I would point to the parts of Gallon Guy as we sing along. And then we did it slow, and we did it fast. I said, I think I can sing it faster. And then we did it slow, and they said, can we do it even slower? So it was 8 fluid ounces equals, and it went on forever. 1 cup, but they actually seemed to do a really good job of retaining that. They sang along with me really quickly. So I think the illustration helped, and then also singing the song in a variety of speeds that kept them really engaged. For English, we had compound prepositions, so I had them do compound and put it together, compound. And we talked about prepositions and how we did the preposition song before. And of course, once I said about above, then they kept going across, along, a bit, all of that. So we did compound prepositions, and I did according to, in addition to, except for, in front of, actually you like that, in front of, out of, and then instead of, and we replaced it. So we did that. I told them the words according to, and then I showed them we're going to do according to, because according to Leanne, prepositions are fun. And so according to, and then in addition to, except for, in front of, out of, and instead of. And of course, they like to do that slower, faster thing like we did before the first time. Then we did Latin. Hold on, I told y'all I was watching my kids play out of the window, and I might have to run outside. Okay, I think we're good. So we did Latin, and it was repeat of week 1 and 2, where we did 5 noun cases, nominative, subject, genitive, possessive, dative, indirect object, accusative, direct object, ablative, object of the preposition. And they retained it. They remembered it, guys. They remembered from week 1 and 2. So again, it was nominative and then subject. We pointed to ourselves. Nominative, subject, genitive, possessive, dative, like you're going on a date with your friend, dative, indirect object, accusative, direct object, and ablative, rub your tummy for your abs, object of the preposition. And then history, tell me about the Cush. So the Cush, we did a K, the Cush mined gold along the Nile River from 2000 BC to AD 350. The Berbers traded gold, iron, and salt in the desert. So I said the sentence and showed them the hand gestures, and I told them what they meant. We're going to do K for Cush, mined, a G for gold, along the Nile River from 2000 BC to AD 350. The Berbers, we made double B's, the Berbers traded gold, again the G for gold, iron, I for iron, and salt in the desert. And then we sang the song through a couple of times, and that was history. And then timeline, I'll let them make up their own. We kind of talked about age of exploration, and so we put our telescope and slid it out, or what do you call it, a periscope? No, that's from the, you know what I'm talking about. I think it would be a telescope. The age of exploration, circa 1400 to circa 1600. Our class, they don't love to do the hand gestures. So I do them along, but I don't add a whole bunch. I don't do one for everything because they don't do the basic ones for the most part anyways. So that was it. Age of exploration, circa 1400 to circa 1600. We did an H. Prince Henry founds the School of Navigation. So we did Henry, and we did it in a sash because he was a prince. Prince Henry founds the School of Navigation. And then slave trade in Africa. Gutenberg's printing press, Shanghai in Africa. Tsar Ivan the Great of Russia, the Spanish Inquisition. So exploration, and then Prince Henry, H across the sash. Prince Henry found School of Navigation. We made a compass. Slave trade, we're in bondage. Slave trade in Africa. And then Gutenberg, make the G, and we're going to do the printing press. And then Shanghai, I made an S by my ear, so it was just Shanghai in Africa because it was about gold, the gold. And then Tsar Ivan, I made an I, Tsar Ivan the Great of Russia, and they put their hands on their hips. And then the Spanish, like their cloak, the Spanish Inquisition was a time of judgment. So that was new grammar. Then we talked about Giotto and how to make different paints and different materials, and they didn't have Hobby Lobby back then, so we did that. And then presentation, science, we learned a lot with science and talked about tilt and sinkers. I put my jar away, but it was really good illustration. Mostly we just talked about the scientific process, and that's in your CC guide, Foundations Guide, and I cannot remember what page. Off the top of my head, 139, 149. But I encourage you to go over that. So we talked about asking questions and thinking through things, what kind of research you would need to do with asking a parent or where you could find that information, hypothesizing what you think is going to happen. You're going to have to wait, sweetheart. And I think that was it. So yeah, just encourage you guys to talk about scientific method, and then they can ask all kinds of questions and figure out what kind of research they're going to do from there. So I think that's it for week 13. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. Have a great day.